going to want to quit because you are human. But you've got to know that you must keep going.
Every decision made, lesson learned, and lesson taught. And until we meet again, may you continue.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Amazing Rare Rubies ABCs of Finance moment. We are so excited about this ABCs of Finance moment segment. My name is Mika McLendon, and I am your host and personal Ruby cultivator. And I want to thank you for taking time out to join us. We are looking to have this broadcast weekly. Yes, weekly on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock, the ABCs of Finance moment. This segment is going to be all about, you're going to love this, it's going to be all about providing tips and nuggets that enhance our financial literacy one step at a time. It's important that we begin to be where we are. You know, with Amazing Rare Rubies, that's something that we have talked about, beginning to be right where we are. Now, with this segment, we're going to be using a new platform called StreamYard. So for those that are on Facebook, you may see an opportunity to join twice right now. So what I did today was I'm on StreamYard, which is where you have me facing forward here. And then I'm also on Facebook Live. So I might have a little turn to myself here on the Facebook Live, but I just wanted to make sure that individuals that were used to seeing us on Facebook Live and were used to clicking there, that they could, but you will begin to see an invitation that is for StreamYard. And this is where we're going to have notes and tips and things posted on the screen. So it would be a good thing to begin to migrate over to that. And again, you should be able to access it from Facebook as well, because you should show us streaming live there. So again, this particular segment, this moment is going to be all about how can we provide some little tips and nuggets that's going to help us enhance our overall financial literacy one step at a time. So yesterday, some of you may have seen where we had a recording that went out yesterday that talked about the benefits of the ABCs of Finance class that Amazing Rare Rubies is offering. And we like to call those benefits lamps, right? Because we believe you need to see where you're going. You need a path to show you where to go, right? And so let me kind of recap for you what lamps stood for. So the L here is for literacy. The purpose of the ABCs of Finance class is all about providing literacy, right? So we can enhance our knowledge and our skills and begin to apply those different things to our lives in different ways. But we got to learn about it first, right? So the overall literacy, number one, A is accountability. That's a big one. In order for us to move our finances forward, we have got to be accountable, right? And sometimes we may need an accountability partner to help us with that. That is okay. Accountability is a big one. The M is for management. We need to make sure that we're managing our money. We're allocating where we want that money to go. You know, sometimes you have money sitting in the bank and you kind of go back and go, gosh, yesterday I had like $300 and today, you know, I only have $200. What happened to that $100? It's a lot of times that we don't know where our money is going, right? Because we do $5 here, $10 here, $20 here. And next thing you know, that balance has gone down and we don't know where those funds went. So we got to learn how to manage our money. The P is for planning. And that's making sure we're telling our money where to go, right? Not just managing, but now we got to tell it where to go so that we can make sure we're putting our money in places that are going to be beneficial for us, right? That's going to get us a return on our investment. That is extremely important. And then the S is for stability, overall financial stability. That is going to be extremely important as we go through this because that's the purpose. We want to walk away and we want to make sure that we have some overall financial stability. So here's a recap for you on those things. Lamps, right? Your literacy, your accountability, management, planning, and stability. These are the things that we talked about yesterday. If you watch the pre-recorded version of benefits regarding the finance class, the ABCs of finance class, that Amazing Rare Rubies offer. So I'm going to leave that up there just for a minute or two for you, just so you can make sure you have that. If not, if you miss it, the recording from yesterday, as I said, it's already out there. But the benefits of this class is to make sure that we give you better vision regarding your finances so that you can see where you're going and what you need to do, and to provide you with those tips on how, because that's important as well. How do we actually do these things? Okay, so now let's go ahead. I'm going to go back here. You should see me at this particular time. Let's go ahead and get started on today's lesson, what we're going to talk about today. So today, I want to walk through with you the 6 basic things that you need to know about your finances. These are 6 basic things that I believe every person needs to know. And again, let me recap this because I see I have some people joining on my Facebook Live. We're using a new platform that's called StreamYard. And you should also see that streaming on Facebook. If you would like to go from Facebook to StreamYard, please do so, because StreamYard is going to show you the tips and give you some nuggets and things that you can, write down really quick while I'm speaking. You'll see that information on the screen. But if not, it's okay to stay on the Facebook Live as we transition. That's why we have both up, so we can make sure we are accommodating as we go through this particular transition right now. So here we are with the 6 basic things that you need to know about your finances. So what are they? Let's jump in and let's get started. The first thing that you need to know is your net worth. Amazingly, a lot of us don't know what our net worth is. So how do we get that information? How do we ascertain that information? Basically, what you want to do here is you want to add up your total assets. So your assets are going to be things that you own, right? If your car is paid for, that's an asset now. 401ks, savings accounts. These are things that you own outright. These are yours, can't be taken away because you own them. You're going to add up your assets. And then the next thing you're going to do is add up your liabilities. So these are the things that you owe. So if you have a car note, well, that's a liability. That's a bill that you owe. If you have credit card debt, that is a bill. If you have student loan debt, that is a bill. You're going to add up those liabilities. Now, here's the thing. You notice I didn't say a house yet. So that can kind of go both ways, because most individuals who have a house don't outright own it just yet, but we're working on that, right? We're working on that. So with the home, what you're going to do there is you're going to look at your equity in your home, and that's considered part of your assets. And then you're going to look at the balance of what you owe on your mortgage, and that's considered part of your liabilities. So the home itself can go on both lists, right? But the goal, again, is to get to where it's all on the asset. We own it right out, clear and free. That's where we want to get to. But you calculate your net worth, again, by adding up your total assets minus your total liabilities. Now, here's the thing with net worth. Our goal is for the net worth to be a positive number. So when we do that, we're looking for the overall net worth to be a positive $100,000, positive $50,000, positive $500,000, right? But net worth can be negative. Yeah, it can. So if you owe more than you own, you're going the wrong way, we need our net worth, again, to be a positive number. So that's number one of one of the 6 basic things you need to know. Know what your net worth is, because it's important you know that in order to begin to be right where you are. That's going to be really, really important. Okay. Now, let's get to number 2 here. The second thing you need to know is your gross income versus your net income. And I'm going to do a little readjusting here. Still have some people joining on my Facebook, and of course, they have me a little sideways. So I'm going to try to fix this a little bit so that at least they have more of a direct view. So bear with me just a moment. But the second one that I hope that's better, Facebook. I hope that's better. The second basic thing that you need to know when it comes down to your finances is your gross income versus your net income. So everybody loves to get a paycheck, right? Right. Everybody loves extra streams of income, right? We love those things, but we have got to understand gross income versus net income. So our gross income is basically the amount of money we make prior to any deductions. So that's prior to any taxes, prior to any 401k money you may have coming out, prior to any deductions you may have regarding your insurance or whatever. That's your gross. So that's where when you get hired for a job or someone says they're going to pay you for something, that's the original number. You make $75,000 a year. Great. That's your gross income. Your net income is going to be what you bring home. So this is after your taxes, after your deductions that are taken from your money. This is the after. So that's the piece we live on. So it's important to understand your gross income versus your net income. Now I'm going to give you a tip in this piece here, and I'm going to come back to this one towards the end as well. The reason you truly need to understand your gross income is because when you go and you apply for a home, or you go to purchase a car or get a loan, they're going to look at your gross income. Yeah, not your net, because they don't know what your net is. They're going to look at your gross income. And so when I get down to point number 6, we're going to touch on this again so that I can elaborate a little bit more on here for you to understand why the gross income versus net income is so important. Okay. So number 2 is your gross income versus your net income. The third thing is you need to know your total monthly income. Total monthly income. That's really important. Why? Because you need to understand how much money you're bringing in, right? So many people have jobs, plus they may be an entrepreneur on the side doing something part-time. And I know a lot of us like to say that's their side hustle. I don't like that word because when you say side hustle, it makes it seem like, you're working, but you're not doing it legitimate. So I like to say, if you're a business owner, you have your proper documentation, you're signed up with the state, you're doing your taxes yearly. That's not a hustle. You're an entrepreneur. You are working, right? To make things better for yourself and in your life. But you need to understand your total monthly income. That means every single thing that is coming in. You need to know what that is. And you need to keep track of that. Some individuals are in positions and jobs where their monthly income fluctuates. You need to understand what that average fluctuation is so that you can, walk away and say, here's my total overall average of what I can pretty much depend on bringing home if you have a fluctuating income. But you need to total all of your monthly income up and understand what that number is every single month. Okay. The fourth thing is to know your total monthly expenses. Your total monthly expenses. That's important. And so again, let me take a pause right here. I have some more people joining on Facebook. We are transitioning over to StreamYard. So you may see me twice on Facebook. So I have a little angle on the Facebook audience. You should see where we're streaming on StreamYard as well. This one is a great one to migrate over to because these, notes and tips, things that I'm talking about, it's going to appear on the screen for you so you can take some notes down. So if you're on Facebook and you want to transition over to StreamYard, please do so. But we will have Facebook up probably a couple of weeks for the ABCs of Finance moment, just as individuals are learning that we move to a new platform. So just FYI. So now, total monthly expenses. You need to know what your total, this is number 4. You need to know what your total monthly expenses are because you need to understand how much money's going out. And you need to understand what's left over, basically, right? So if you're not tracking that down, you'll just be paying bills and spending money, and you're not really tracking your expenses. And let me help you with that. Yes, ladies, expenses include getting your nails done, getting your hair done. That is an expense. I don't care whether you're doing it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, it is an expense. You need to write that down. Gentlemen, yes, going to the barbershop or going to a bar to hang out with the guys once a week, watch a football game, man time, that is an expense. You need to track it down. So we need to understand our total monthly expenses as well. Okay, that's number 4. So number 5 is you need to understand your monthly cash flow. Now this one, this is big. You know how we like having money after we finish paying bills, right? Who doesn't? We like having a little pocket change when we finish paying for our necessities. Great. But if you're not tracking that, you don't know what that cash flow is at the end of the month or middle of the month. You don't know where you stand. So you need to, after you track down what's coming in and you track down what's going out, you need to understand what's left. And here's the thing with cash flow. It works like net worth. It can either be positive or negative. The goal is to have a positive cash flow, not a negative one, a positive cash flow. So you have to document down and track what's coming in and what's going out so that you will truly know what your cash flow is at the end of every month. That's extremely important. Okay. Now let's talk about number 6 here. Number 6, let me get it there for you. There we go. Number 6 is your total debt and your debt to income ratio. This is a big one as well, people. Let me be real with you. This is a big one as well. You need to understand what your total debt is. I do financial coaching, and in coaching individuals on their finances, I have yet, and I'm going to be real honest with you, I've yet to have someone that I'm coaching that gives me the total debt up front. Most people leave off a credit card or leave off something. Oh, this payday loan. They leave off something because it was like, I was going to pay that next week, so I just didn't add it in. Be true to yourself. Know what your total debt is because this is your financial journey, and you need to be very clear on where you are in your financial journey. So understanding your total debt and your debt to income ratio is power for you. Let me pause right here. I see had somebody else come in on Facebook. We are migrating to a system called StreamYard. So you may see me on Facebook twice. I'm running the Facebook Live along with StreamYard so people can see that we're migrating over. So please come on over to StreamYard. We'll be live there too, and you'll get more information, notes, and information on the screen. So total debt and debt to income ratio. This gives you power because if you know where you stand, you can properly begin to be. And that's what we want for people. We need everybody to properly begin to be right where they are, Okay. So total debt, you need to know that in order to calculate your debt to income ratio. And here's a tip for you. Your debt to income ratio should be 36% or less. Yeah, that means what you're bringing home, all this money you got coming in. Your debt to income ratio should only be 36%. Some experts will tell you going up to 43%, that works too. And that's great if you want to do that. When it comes to finances, I'm a huge believer on the lower the better in certain areas. With debt to income ratio, it's really important for it to be closer to that 36 if you're trying to buy a home. Remember, I told you I would go back to that first one that we talked about, that not first one, second one, the gross income versus net income. I will go back to that. Well, this is where I'm going back to it. Because if you're trying to buy a home, they are going to use your gross income and they're going to look at your debt to income ratio to understand if you can afford to buy a home. So if your debt to income ratio is way up to where it's 50 and 60%, the possibility of approval is going to be slim to none. So you want to get that debt to income ratio down to about 36%. Why? Because it shows them that you have some room to take on additional debt. It shows them that you're managing your current debt and you're not extending or overextending yourself. You want to make sure that if you're looking to buy a car, looking to buy a home, those big purchases, it's going to be important that when they look at your gross income, because again, they don't know your net. Creditors have no idea what your net income is. They don't know what you bring home. They know what your salary is. They don't know what you have taken out. They don't know if you do insurance or if you have a 401k or not. They have no clue of that. So they're going to use your gross income number. So that $75,000 you make a year, as an example, that's your gross income. And then they're going to look at your debt to income ratio and they're going to say, how are they managing their debt? And if your debt to income ratio is over 36%, and again, some experts say you can go up to 43%. Like I said, some things less is better. I'm going to say 36%. So if your debt to income ratio is being balanced properly, they're more apt to give you the money. They're more apt to give you a loan. They're more apt to approve you for your home. But if your debt to income ratio is up in the high 40s and 50s, etc., the probability of being approved is slim. And then guess what comes with that? If they do approve you, higher interest rates. Oh yeah, don't forget about that. Higher interest rates. So you want to make sure you're managing your debt to income ratio. Is really important. So again, let me run through those 6 basic things. Is going to be your net worth. Yep. What are you worth? Let me get that back up there for you. Your net worth, right? Then it's going to be your gross income versus your net income. Then we're going to look at your total monthly income. That's everything that you're making, everything coming in, not some, not a little bit, everything, right? Next is going to be your total monthly expenses. How much is going out? You need to understand exactly what you're putting out when it comes down to your finances. Your monthly cash flow is next, right? Understand how much cash flow you have left at the end of the month, whether it is positive or negative. And then your total debt and debt to income ratio. These are the 6 basic things that we believe every person needs to know about their finances, every single person. Of course, we always want you to stay in contact with us as well. You'll see our website on the screen, www.amazingrarerubies.com. In addition, when you go to that website, we have a tab that is called the ABCs of Finance tab. Here you will find information about the ABCs of Finance class. We have a class coming up March 15th, and we also have a class coming up March 26th. We have limited seating. We do have opportunities for virtual or in person. If you're here in Georgia with us, there's an opportunity for you to attend the class in person. The class is a 4-week class, 1 day a week. So we have a class that's March 15th on Tuesday. That's going to be at 7 p.m. And then we have a Saturday class, which starts on March 26th. That's going to be at 10 a.m. in the morning. These classes will run for 4 weeks. So for Tuesdays from March 15th through, I think it's April 16th. And then we're going to have the Saturday class that's going to start on March 26th and run through, is it April 16th there? I'm getting my dates confused. Let me get this right for you. All right, let me get my piece of paper. I was trying to do that from memory, but we have it written down right here. So the March 15th class, there we go, is going to be March 15th, March 22nd, March 29th, and April 5th. This is our Tuesday class, 7 p.m. at night, and it's going to run from 7 p.m. to 9:30. And then we have the Saturday class, which is going to start March 26th. And it's going to be March 26th, April 2nd, April 9th, and April 16th. So that's 4 Saturdays. And it's going to run from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And again, we have the opportunity to do virtual. And we do have some seating for live and in person. So please go to our website, www.amazingrarerubies.com. The class itself is $100 for all 4 classes. So it's basically $25 per class. And that is a great investment to begin to enhance our overall financial literacy. Our goal is to begin to be with you right where you are. So our goal was also to make sure that these classes are affordable. So we are looking forward to seeing you in the ABCs of Finance class. And we'll definitely look forward to seeing you back here next Tuesday at 10 a.m. for another ABCs of Finance moment. As always, we pray that this lesson has been a blessing to you. We encourage you to keep God in every decision made, lesson learned, and you guessed it, message taught. And of course, until the next time, we want you to make sure that you make it a Ruby Day. Thanks so much. Stay blessed.
You are going to want to quit because you are human. But you've got to know that you must keep going.
Every decision made, lesson learned, and message taught. And until we meet again,